Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And we decided that we had to do another goddamn commentary on a movie of youth that is probably one of the biggest films I can think of the late 90s. So big it should have won an Academy Award, but they just kind of snuffed it the whole time.
That's how I felt back in like
now that's
99.
Now that's the 10-year-old us talking, because that seems like the logical thing that should have happened in 1998, even though I think this came out in 99 actually.
I think it was 99, yeah.
It made Japan 98, so 99.
Still kind of running off all the momentum built up from Pokemon Go. I'm like, I'm in town. It's like, you know what? I mean, I don't think it's really perfect enough to do a retrospect on it, but for the fuck of it...
Oh, you motherfucker. Sorry.
Oh, yeah. Me? Yeah, no, the thing... We just had the thing...
Makes its own goddamn fucking decisions.
Okay, so basically, here's what's going on right now. We don't have the movie on DVD. We have it on VHS. So what we're doing is we had it paused, and then, just paused, and the pause button wasn't working, so we stopped it. Then it just started suddenly fucking playing. And now we just got to rewind it back, and yeah.
Fast forward. It's a goddamn VHS player. I don't know what it is. I watched the VHS the other day on it. Same fucking thing happened. It has a mind of its own. And this is my best. I used to consider this my best VHS player. When I threw out its siblings, I was like, I chose you. You are the chosen one. And, here we go again. But, so we're doing Pokemon the movie. I guess we didn't fucking mention
movie.
that. Yeah.
They know in the title.
Welcome to the stadium. Get ready for the ultimate showdown. Mew versus Mewtwo. Bring all your skill. Bring all your courage. The Pokemon match of all time is here. On November 12th, training is over. Kids WB presents Pokemon, the first movie. Catch it.
Pikachu.
Only in theaters.
Free with every admission, receive one of 4 all-new cards for the Pokemon trading card game, while supplies last.
Yeah, Pokemon the first movie, or as it says when you actually watch the movie, it's like Pokemon Mewtwo Strikes Back. So
the thing, I guess, with it is like, this is like, I mean, I've said multiple times the show doesn't hold up to me. But that being said, there's still a lot of fond memories that kind of come from Pokemon. I mean, I can still play the games, and the games are really fun, but the show itself doesn't hold up, though. I think this movie is actually kind of a little better than the show, just because it kind of like condenses down. It's just like an hour and like 10 minutes or an hour and 20 minutes, where the show it just kind of, same thing. Like, we got to teach this Clefairy how to sing, or we got to do this. Oh, Ash, and it just got very old.
The downfall of the show, and I think it's a problem with a lot of Japanese animes, is that they have to almost extend the episodes. No, you're worried. It's the Pikachu's fucking adventure thing.
Oh, okay. So basically, we don't know what you'll be watching on this thing. We're going to start it off right at the movie, right at the real movie, right at the Kids WB screen for
Mewtwo Strikes Back.
me-
We're going to skip the Pikachu's adventure. We sat down and watched this because we just watched this whole movie all the way through from beginning to end because just to refresh our memory. And the Pikachu's part's probably not necessary to talk about because it really is just a bunch of animals making Pokemon sounds the whole time. And here's the thing.
I didn't like this. I didn't like all the little like short films they had when I was a kid.
Well, when you were a kid, it didn't matter what it was. As long as it was Pokemon, you were fucking there. You were excited as can be. But even watching this...
there, but you weren't exactly like, yeah, you know, it's kind of like that friend you kind of bring along with you to the party. Like, yeah, he's a good guy, but he's just saying some stupid shit. And that's kind of what this is. It's kind of like you like these characters, but it's just this is really, I think what they did here, the marketing strategy was, you know what, the very first like 5-10 minutes of this movie is kind of dark compared to what it is in the show. So I think they just threw in this little short to kind of get
Vacation.
to get all the little kids to get their attention going, and then that's when the real movie would start up. And I could imagine how many parents just sat in the theaters just watching this thing like, what the fuck is going on?
Well, the worst part, too, is it comes up with these transitions, and they got, like, different Pokemon, and then coming across, like, there's one of Bellsprouts, like, Bellsprout.
It looks like you
Bellsprout. It looks like the point where your, like, father leans next to you, like, Ryan, is this where we're supposed to drop acid? Yeah. Like, okay, I only brought a 6-pack of beer. I didn't know I was going to need more than this.
You can't have it because I already paid for the tickets. This is all for me. No, actually, my parents never took me to these movies. They just dropped me off at the theater.
Probably went and saw another movie or...
No, they didn't. They're just like, I'm not sitting through this fucking movie. I'm going to drop it. There are other things they would take me to, but this is like, they just dropped me off at it, and I understand. They watched it with me when I got on VHS later in the line, but... my aunt took me to see the second one. The second one, the whole time I was explaining to my aunt, like, don't worry, this Pikachu Vacation 2 thing, this is not the movie. This is not the movie. This is just the stupid little like short they have at the beginning. I kept on leaning her. I promise you, this isn't the movie. She's like, I really hope not. I really fucking hope this isn't the movie. I promise you, it's not. And then when the movie actually got going, like, all right, that was actually better than I thought it was gonna be. I'm not gonna go out and get it, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. So, which I don't remember this Pokemon 2000 all that well, but. Yeah, right now we're just fast forwarding through the Pikachu's adventure on the.
Do you think the fast forwarding is making us talk faster? I just thought about that.
I feel like it is. Yeah.
Because I'm watching everything else go at like hyper speed on a VHS.
It's all coming back to me, and yeah, now.
Now here's a big thing though. When you
The
first saw
Magnemite part, fuck.
Yeah, Magnemite. I think it's kind of scary at the end actually. Like,
It's like Magnemite.
Now here's a big thing. The first time you went to see this movie. What was the special card you got? Because there was 4 cards that you could get at random when going to the theater.
Electabuzz.
And that was the one you got?
Yeah.
I got the Dragonite one. And
Everybody
then there was...
wanted the Dragonite.
Well, everybody wanted the Mew one, it seemed like.
Wasn't the Mew one? I thought you couldn't get the Mew one.
No, the Mew one was like the super rare
I thought that was the...
It was the ancient Mew card?
I thought that... I'm pretty sure that was Pokemon... I thought that was number 2. 2000.
No, it was this one.
Where it looked like a card, you had to get the hieroglyphics. I'm pretty sure that was the second one.
Was it really? Maybe it was.
Because this one, you'd get different ones.
I remember there was 4.
There's a couple, and
I could have swore it was Mew, though, too, at the same time. But maybe that was 2000.
I want to say it was Pokemon 2000. I never saw 3, I never saw 4. I saw parts of 4, like on TV.
Well, no matter what, in the long run, I caught them all. Pokemon style it is. It was... but I remember going to the theater, it's kind of like...
A big deal with this movie was you got to see glimpses of characters from Silver and Gold. The game wasn't out yet, so that was a big deal.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so now we're coming up to
now we got the little in-between part. But no, I remember because the thing, too, was when they showed... We used to always think of that Pokemon Marill as Peekaboo. That was like what they called it.
What the internet was calling it.
Well, the internet was calling it at the time, which, God forbid, that might not have even been what they called in Japan. But from that point on, when you're doing your research on your fucking modem, you were expecting to see that. Okay, so now we're at... Oh, no, we're not. Fucking thing.
Just hit stop when it happens.
No, hit fucking play, because I don't want to rewind. Here,
okay,
hit play.
So we're playing right at the kids'
So start it right now. If you got this up right now, boom, there's a WB sign. I would have paused it, but it's a VHS player. We got the Nintendo one coming up. This reminds me of N64. I love that Nintendo logo.
Well, it was such a big... It felt so weird seeing, like, a Nintendo logo in front of a movie in theaters. Because I know the Mario Brothers movie came out, and I think this is the only other Nintendo movie to come to theaters.
Yeah. Wait, do you really break it down? Well, Pokemon 2000 did, too. But.
Well, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, like, Pokemon Project... I want to say that, like, I said Pokemon Pikachu Project 98. This opening always reminded me of, like, Land Before Time. Because Land Before Time opened up with just, like, bubbles and water and a narration about life. So I think they... I wonder
is
if
it
that's...
precious? Is it something?
a commodity. Like, this could actually have Morgan Freeman right here. Like, Welcome to the Morgan Freeman's Pokemon Show.
And here we have what starts off as creation of cloning. Cloning is a thing that we all have to live with.
Well, I remember watching this movie and just being so, like, just amazed that this movie came out. Because when you're a kid, I mean, now, like, I feel like almost anything can get a movie and almost anything can get made now. But at the time, just thinking, like, man, you're never going to make a Pokemon movie. And you find out, oh, yeah, they are making it. One did happen. Like, oh, okay, so it's probably going to come straight to video.
Actually, it was probably made before you even knew what Pokemon was in the U.S., but still.
Yeah, and I heard about it. A friend of mine, like, who was just, like, one of those, he actually... It would sound like so cool when you're a kid. This one friend of mine, he was totally kind of like the Eric Cartman of our group, had his own website that he made, and among like Pokemon fans, everybody was granted like, you got the rainbow badge of all the sites, so of all fan sites, and it was a big deal for him. It was like, oh wow, he's so cool. He got the rainbow badge of all the Pokemon fan sites, and now I'm looking back, it was just like little gifs and just links to other shit. But regarding it, and he told me, explained the whole thing to me. Now I remember there's so many rumors, not just about this movie, but Pokemon, things that they edited out. Because it was before you really had like a whole lot of that internet access, and you could just believe what everybody told you.
Well, plus the internet at that time period, that was like, I always consider it the Wild West times of the internet, where there was so much freedom going on to it, but it wasn't like you could just look up anything just instantaneously still. Most people didn't have internet at their homes yet. It was one of those ones, there'd be the rich friend that would have it, or you'd have to use it at school, which they always thought you were doing something important, like looking up Pokemon. Most important thing you could possibly be doing.
Well, I'll say this whole scene right here, with the opening of the movie, with Mewtwo breaking on the glass right here.
And him thinking to himself, like, contemplating, like, what am I? Am I real? What's going on? He talks like Orson Welles. That's like, we kind of get to the conclusion of that.
Even though this is very kind of teen angsty right here, I think that if the show had more moments like this, like I'm not expecting everybody to be kind of like, what is life? But I mean, I think if you actually had more moments like this in the show, it would probably hold up better, and I think it probably had more watchability. Because I read somewhere that the original creator of Pokemon, when the series first started, he wanted it to eventually age with its audience. He wanted it to be kind of like
Dragon Ball Z, pretty much?
Or like Harry Potter, something like that, where it starts off like, okay, he's 10, eventually he's going to get 16. I don't think he was planning to get like Pokemon, like Apocalypse, where it's rated R or anything like that. But I mean, I think that he wanted it to eventually age and get older. But then they realized, you know what's our biggest commodity? 10-year, American boys from the age 7 to 12. And there's always going to be a 7 to 12 age range, so Ash will always be 10. And then for that, it just kind of stunk the show. The guy didn't like it. And I never read any of them, but they have, there's a ongoing series, I guess, called Pokemon Adventures, where Red is basically kind of what he wanted to be, and Pokemon actually die in it. I don't think it's ultra dark, but I think it tiptoes to PG-13, is what I'm told.
And it's a manga, you say?
It's a manga, yeah.
Huh. Well, because that's the thing. It's like, I think nobody expected Pokemon to last as long as it has. And kind of the downfall to that is that they kept it at that 7 to 12-year-old range when the potential of it, and maybe by now with Pokemon Go and everything like that, and they finally kind of realized that all the fans, because, we're really the original generation of the American Pokemon audience, which is kind of cool to think.
This shit right here.
When I'm 100 years old, I could be like, I was there the first day that the Pokemon was released.
There's only 151, and that extra one was very special. Not everyone knew about that. This whole part right here, I remember sitting in the theaters holy fuck, shit got real. He's coming through the fucking fire.
He's gonna kill all these scientists.
People were fucking dying in the movie. You had quite people contemplating life, and it was like, don't get me wrong, now this is just like, oh, it's whatever. But I mean, the fact that you had this in that show, it just seems like, holy shit, people are fucking dying.
This is the part where Dad was already on his therd beer, and he was getting kind of afraid because he only had 3 left.
He's like, oh, somebody died, it's a little better.
Would have been better if Dirty Harry was in it, but, I'll settle for this.
I'll say I kind of I think Giovanni's a good setup for a villain, but I read, every once in a while, you'll do some reading or you look up a YouTube video or something that explains what's going on, and the show's still going on, of course, and they have spin-off shows, but I heard that, I think a year or 2 years ago, Ash finally went up against Giovanni. He finally met Giovanni after 2 years. Like 2 years ago. That's what I heard. And it's just like, are you serious? It took him that fucking long to finally face off against Giovanni.
Which, once again, that would have been totally fine if Ash aged, even though it's still like a fucking long-ass time, but...
Because he was a fucking idiot. Because even though I loved the show, I always hated Ash. And I wanted him to do good just so the show would progress. Like, I was fine with all the surrounding characters, even Jesse
Brock's
and
like
James.
the best character. Yeah, Jesse, even though they get kind of obnoxious after a while, it's like, they probably don't need to show him in, like, every goddamn episode. They would have been better off coming in, like, every, like, 3 or 4 episodes.
I think it would have been better if they did, like, I think that something you could probably try to do is maybe, like, I mean, you know, still make it kid-friendly enough, but, like, do, like, kind of, like, give it the Full Metal Alchemist treatment, you know?
Yeah, well, because Full Metal Alchemist is a perfect example of a show that's, like, sort of like a bridge between being, like, it's a kid's show, but then it can also be, like, a adult or young adult show.
Well, I remember, like, there's this girl, this Japanese foreign exchange student I was dated for a little while in high school. And,
What? Give me the secrets of what you have in Japan.
Tell me the secrets of your world.
What happens to Ash? What happens to Ash?
And it was, a lot of it was just me questioning, like, wait, that's a kid's show in Japan? Yes, that's a kid's show in Japan. Like, that's really a kid's show? Yep. You know, and then basically, the way she explained Full Metal Alchemist was, and I think I've heard this before, but she basically explained it as kind of like, it's kind of like Harry Potter, where at a first glance it seems kind of like a kid's thing, but as it goes on, there's more to it. There's obviously a lot more about life and all that shit. Now, this was a big fucking deal right here, because I remember in the show, right when Ash was going to the final gym before the Indigo Plateau stuff, we saw Gary go up against Mewtwo, but he was in this armor right here. So this was all crossing it together, like, oh shit, you know, and then you finally saw they got this big orchestral score that's just like, you know, shit is going down, and he's like, you see him just like capturing all these Tauroses right here.
Yeah, I know. Which is kind of weird, you know, because that's the only part you really see Gary in, is you see, like, the side of his head, and that's it.
Well, I think it's, like, one of those things, like, okay, if you watch the show, I think they're trying to keep it to, like, you didn't have to see that, but if you did see it, isn't this a cool little bonus?
Yeah, I think so.
I remember just waiting for that to come back around and just seeing, because, like, all right, that's obviously Mewtwo, but he's in this armor, and he doesn't talk. What the fuck's going on? And then you're like, oh, this ties to it. And then we're going to see Gary in a second. Right now, he's fucking with a Magneton, which I never liked Magnemite or Magneton, and they're strong. Here's Gary, because he threw out 2 of them at the same time. You don't see his cheerleaders like, oh fuck, Gary.
See, there's Gary. You get this little side profile. I would do oosh. You wish you were cool
he
like
has the
me.
flapping hair back and forth
Yeah.
in the Pixelated game.
Dude, this is the weirdest thing. This sounds so fucking weird, but when walking in town the other day, this goes to show what the generation was. There was a fucking, like, baby or so, like, 2-year-old with a fucking emo cut. It was so fucking
A
weird.
baby or a
It literally had, like, the
baby or like a little
like a 2-year-old.
2-year-old, fuck.
Had the fucking, like, over one eye covering it.
Oh, damn.
And just the Gary thing reminded me of that, but...
That kid's gonna.
So
Gary,
I can see that
yeah.
kid, like waddling down the street going to preschool.
Just flapping back and forth. This is the part like, I own you, bitch. Now this part right here. Now, yeah, the dialogue's very stiff and very just ham-fisted to you. But at the same time, it's like you weren't used to this in the show. This was all like, 'cause a lot of dark lighting and a lot of dark like scenery right here, and just Mewtwo saying like, "Fuck this shit. I'm breaking out of this.
I want to be free.
I'm breaking out of this, like, Alien, like, I forgot the guy's name, but he did, like, the design for Alien, and, like, a lot of that stuff, like, fuck, what was it?
What, Stan Winston? Well, he did
Maybe
the...
he did the design for
he needed the Xenomorph.
the Xenomorph. I believe that was the guy, you know, he did a lot of that. He did, like, I think some Children of Bodom artwork, or some artwork.
Oh, okay, you're talking about an artist? Like,
An artist, yeah.
Okay, that's not Stan Winston. He's the guy, the puppeteer.
But, yeah, it looks like a lot of his kind of style, you know what I mean? Just that dark science fiction type stuff.
Well, it's almost got sort of the look like,
It's very kind of sleek.
like Ghost in the Shell.
Yeah, and he like Mewtwo even looks
Akira.
kind of Kira, Ghost in the Shell, and like I think Alien Xenomorph stuff. Like Mewtwo even looks kind of like a cuddlier version of a Xenomorph, kind of with his like posture sort of in his legs.
That's kind of true too. It's just like he's kind of out here looking.
Especially with that helmet right there, and just him being like, "Who am I?" You know, I'm realizing he is.
Am I real? I something?
He is kind of like the Shadow the Hedgehog of like
Yeah, he really is.
of Pokemon.
Because Shadow's always like, I don't know what I am.
What am I?
I got rollerblades on for some goddamn fucking reason.
Get me a gun.
Give me a gun and a cocktail, and I'm set.
I'm Shadow the Hedgehog.
Here we go, where everybody's like, oh, fuck
Fuck, it's CG. It's a CG title. That's how you know.
You
it's
can
a
totally
big deal.
tell that is
What
that's
the
like the
fuck?
American
What
like
the
thrown in there.
Fuck, you know, and it's just like Mewtwo strikes.
Because it looks like any of like the kids WB like stuff at the time.
Which it seems really impressive at the time. I can do that shit in After Effects if I wanted.
Well, yeah. Back
At the time, though,
back
it
then,
seemed-
you know, if you had your copy of After Effects or early version,
Now,
of it,
though,
it was
yeah.
expensive.
Yeah, but still, Brock always. I think that's the reason why Brock was always good with the ladies because he knew how to cook. I mean, I know
Well,
he
you know,
was
that's
always-
kind of the interesting thing, though, is just how in Japanese animes, or it's just in Japan, how eating is such an important thing. You think of pretty much almost any anime you watch, half the time, everybody's looking for that next meal. Like, it's like the struggle for the next one. I mean, that's how Samurai Champloo is. That's how Cowboy Bebop is. That's how Dragon Ball Z is. I mean, like, Goku, like, what's more important to him? I mean, he's saving the world, but then the next most important thing is, what's for dinner?
I guess the one I could think of that's not all about like, oh, we gotta get some food is like Ghost in the Shell. But beyond that, yeah, Outlaw Star, that was
Yeah.
a problem. Yeah.
Well, because I think about, like, you know, you look at Batman, it's not like Bruce Wayne's like, he's pushing food away. He's like, you know, I'll eat that later, Alfred. Give me a protein shake instead.
I'll just have like a. I'll just have a monkey bladder. That's just or whatever. Just some
Yeah,
weird
just
ass
grind
shit.
up this monkey bladder while it's still alive.
Yeah. And like right here, like I'm guessing, you know, if I had to guess, and this is just me entirely spitballing, I have to guess as a thing after World War II. Like probably food became. There's like one of the few times I think the adults got a little bit of a laugh right there. I'm like. Brock says like, oh, at least his mouth's working or whatever that line was.
Yeah, because like Ash just laying there's like, I'm fucking lazy and I don't want to do shit.
I'll have my slaves do it for me. Go,
Pokey Slave. This is where they had the cool remix version of like the Pokemon theme,
I
which was
remember-
the most important part for having the soundtrack.
Yeah, like the soundtrack was a lot of Christina Aguilera type shit, literally.
Which as a kid, you're
But-
kind of like, I don't give a fuck about that shit.
But like, yeah, and this was a big deal because it was like, oh, that guy's because he wasn't in the game at the time. So he was
No, because this is all our pre-gold and silver stuff.
So remember the show, and every once in a while, like oh look, Togepi, he'll be in Gold and Silver. Even the first episode had, I think it was Ho Ho or something flying at the end. Yeah. So but no, like so I think the food thing. I think that comes. Maybe it's like a World War II thing. Like food, of course, was probably really
Because
scarce.
it was really scarce during that time period.
So maybe that's just something that's kind of carried on through storytelling. That's just a guess.
Because yeah, as you think about like in American cartoons, like most time, you know, I mean, not saying they don't eat at all, but it's just not.
It's usually
common.
there's the fat fuck that wants
Yeah,
to eat. You got
the
like
shameful fat friend who's like, oh, but we're not having breakfast again.
Theodore. Like I'm not hungry.
Stop hiding the cookies in the goddamn fucking bed.
Quit hiding them under your man tits. You know that was like every. That wasn't like that wasn't every character, but there's always the fat guy who always liked to eat.
Theodore.
I know there's more, but I'm always thinking they have the double take right here. I think it was to match the beat of the song.
Yeah, it's like we're gonna show Macho twice.
And I remember this was a big deal about having the soundtrack was this remixed version of the song. And I remember when the movie, right around the time when the movie came out, I remember I went to like a Barnes and Noble, went to a listening station. They had this there,
Oh, the good old fucking listening stations.
and sitting there for like I don't know, maybe around like 15 minutes, just listening to that song on repeat. And then somebody behind me wanted to listen to like whatever Megadeth album was on that same station.
They're like, hey, you little fucking kid.
So I remember getting really defensive, like when it wasn't the first Pokemon soundtrack, but I think it was the second Pokemon soundtrack, Pokemon 2000. I remember going to a Rasp because at the time I lived in San Jose. I went to a
This guy's
Rasp.
like, I'm gonna throw out every single Pokemon I got.
He's got a badass team. He's got a bunch of ones I like, and they're all kind of like they all look kind of like the evil, mean looking Pokemon.
Yeah, when they're all kind of like the ballsy types that people normally don't choose.
Like he wasn't. I'll say it wasn't a really strategized team. They're all just kind of like the scary looking Pokemon. Not really like, all right, you don't have a water, you don't have a fire, you don't have an electric, you know. But what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, so we're going to Rasputin's, and they had I was looking for the just Pokemon 2000 soundtrack. I didn't know what was on it other than the few songs I knew of. Just it's Pokemon, so I'm gonna get it. And we're looking on the soundtracks, like where can I find Pokemon? Like in the children's section. I'm like,
Yeah, children. That's like a full-on adult story right there. Fucking Pokemon the movie was an Academy Award-winning movie. Got snuffed at the Oscars.
fucking Saving Private Ryan, whatever.
Sir, that didn't even come out the same year. Close enough.
Just walk away.
Like Steven Spielberg gonna fucking direct something like Pokemon. He's got nothing on him. Who fucking directed Pokemon, huh? None of your goddamn business, that too.
Something.
Probably the same guy who directed Digimon, because that was like the other fucking shit movie of the year.
We watch this one. I'll say this one
Well,
definitely
that's like
holds up.
a long time ago, or not a long time ago, but like 6 months ago or so, we were going to do that Digimon one, and we sat there and watched the whole movie, and afterwards, and Digimon was just as big a thing to me when I was a kid as Pokemon almost was. And I even liked Digimon before Pokemon because you could get the Digipets came out a year prior.
I'll see these pillars on the side. That looks something right out of Alien or something like that.
No, that's totally cool. But, so Digimon was so big, and then you go back and watch the movie, and boy, Pokemon movie holds up well. For what it is, as long as you like Pokemon, it holds up good. Digimon, oh god, I don't know. I was lost to something that I thought I actually knew well.
Well, the thing about, it's a couple of things. Like, the thing is, Digimon, I think they were both kind of on their way out by the time, like, at least for the big public, by the time Digimon the movie came out, Mm-hmm. And I think Pokemon, first off, this movie, I think it changed for what it was. Even though it's still Pokemon, it's still kid-friendly, some of the storytelling, it's still some of it's ham-fisted, but not as much as the show. The show would literally just spoon-feed you every single bit of information. This one, there's stuff they're like, we'll let you figure it out. Not all the way. There are some things like, I will rule this world, haha. But you get the thing of like, okay, Mewtwo swirling his hands around.
Yeah.
And then someone would have to explain it to you. But right here, we just figure it out. Oh, he's making the storm. Okay.
Well, so you get to see Dragonite, which was kind of rare to see in the show anyways. There was only that one where what was it, the tower or the...
There's the tower, where they meet Bill. They meet Bill or Bob. Was it Bill's PC?
Yeah, Bill.
Bill's PC, yeah. They meet Bill, and the nanny...
See, look at this. I got to say this really quickly. They have all this technology, have this hologram thing, but they just got to fucking, sign off on a piece of paper.
Well, it's probably like a Mission Impossible thing. This message will self-destruct or whatever.
Yeah. Look at
You're bringing that thing back because that shit was expensive.
Look at Dragonite's just got this fucking dead stare on him, not fucking moving.
He's just not moving, just
he's almost like he's gonna retard eat him.
Oh!
Well, because he just kind of looks like this lovable dragon thing but could
kill you.
Like a hippopotamus, where it looks kind of happy and friendly, and then you realize it's the most deadliest Pokemon in the...
I didn't know. I heard someone say this, and I looked it up on YouTube, and it kind of freaked me out after seeing it. Because I like frogs. I always thought like those animals. But then someone said, oh yeah, frogs can eat, rats and, small mice and chicks. I'm like, really? No, they fucking... what? And then I just went and just looked online of someone feeding, a mouse to, this frog. And it wasn't just, a normal frog. It was, a big-ass frog, but it had, this kind of face where it's, its eyes were just so vacant and soulless, and it had, what looked like a big-ass grin, just one of those kind of frogs. And then
so it looked like Dragonite.
Yeah, and then it just shot its tongue out, and just moving its head around, just shaking this thing, but just had this soulless grin, shaking this fucking mouse around in its fucking gullet. It's oh, fuck, It was one of the... I thought I had a strong stomach, but oh, fuck, that was just unsettling, just seeing this thing with this big, happy fucking smile, I'm gonna feed this fucker. Kind of like Dragonite, yeah, Dragonite. I'm sure there's probably some vor art somewhere on TV and art of fucking Dragonite eating somebody.
I like a Mewtwo series, swirling his brandy around.
Yeah.
It's the 4Kids for Entertainment just took it out.
This is one of those things where, not just this movie, but Pokemon itself always had, any anime, and mid 90s to early 2000s had a lot of rumors, Japanese version's so much darker. One of the rumors of this movie was the original Japanese version, when, spoilers, Ash apparently gets turned to stone and dies for a second. The original version got his head blown off. I'm not sure about your school, but at my school, that was an urban legend that Ash got his head blown off in the movie, and then at some point when Mewtwo's flying around, Misty's scared, oh my god, and and then I don't know, you see up her shirt for a second or some shit, it's something
that was always what it was. It was the rumors of schools. Misty was always naked at some point. Somebody fucking died and shit.
There's Electabuzz. There's one shot in the movie.
Wait, I wish he would talk because he's got the best voice. He's like, blah, 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 blah.
Electabuzz seems kind of like the the barroom brawler of all the Pokemon.
I know, you see Stinky Steve down at the old bar would have an Electabuzz in Pokemon World.
Yeah, Stinky, Dive Bar Dave wants to fight.
His son's an Electabuzz. Oh,
he has an Electabuzz. He has a Snorlax.
Yeah, he's got all kind of the drunk Pokemon.
Slowpoke. No, I like this part because we got this very wise, noble lady.
She's got this fine Hungarian voice or something like that. And for being like a toll booth lady or whatever the fuck she is, she certainly has a whole lot of knowledge for what's about to come.
She's very overqualified for her job.
Yeah, like, I mean, like, look, she's telling, I mean,
All these shitty kids, like,
yeah, like, we want to see what the Pokemon tournament is.
Like, small things right there, like where Ash pops in right there and people kind of glance at him for a second. Like, small things like that. They wouldn't have those little, I mean, it's the movies, so they got time for it, but they wouldn't really have that really in the show right there. It would just be kind of like almost the same shot, and then Ash kind of just pops in, but no one else really moves. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like small little details like that I noticed, at least from last time I watched the show to now.
Well, it's funny when you look at a lot of animation in general, how, like, certain shows, if the characters aren't, like, part of, like, the scene, in a sense, like, they'll just be, like, flat. Like they
those
won't move
characters,
at all.
like the characters right there behind.
Yeah,
them.
they don't do anything like I think the problem I always do is I always try to make sure the whole thing looks like it's like real life animated, so at least they're blinking or something like that. But some things they just avoid that in general. They're like, oh no, unless it's talking, it doesn't fucking move or blink.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, just right there. Not like major not characters in the background, but there's a few small little like things like, oh, the girl looks at Ash for a second, which you wouldn't. I never would see something like that in the original. His lips are blue for a second right there in that shot. But
yeah. Do you ever think that Pidgeot that he's flying off on is like ginormously bigger than like everybody else's?
Well, Pidgeot was always, they kind of fucked up in the audio because he says like Pidgeotto, but it is a Pidgeot, and Pidgeot's the big one. So
I guess that's true.
It's like Rescue Rangers Eagle Big.
Yeah.
Yeah, I forgot that one for a minute.
That's one of the best Disney movies too, and it's totally forgotten.
To be Pokemon Master. It's like this is the shit where you'd show your parents this movie when
like,
you're a kid.
It's serious.
They'll get it. They'll get it right there. And then
they'll see what my love is all about.
And then she says like, "That's the courage that makes them Pokemon Masters." Like, fuck, I need another 6-pack. It's all gone.
Ryan, I ran out of beer. God damn it!
Yeah. Look what your show did to me.
I've never drank this fast in one sitting.
Well, it wasn't even kind of like.
He's like, I thought it was over by the time Pikachu's adventure was done.
How many parents do you think watched that went to the theaters, sat through Pikachu's like vacation or whatever, and then were just like, "Oh, thank fuck, that hour and 10 minutes went by." I mean, it felt like an hour. Then the movie's like, "No, no, no!" It starts playing it.
I like the
right
Team
here.
Rockets right here, and they're all being like Swedish.
He says like,
Vikings.
"Where are they? No, Vikings were here. It must be from Minnesota." Ha ha ha.
Yeah, they throw in that weird like that. Pretty much to me, I feel like it
That was
breaks
the
the
adult
fourth
joke.
wall. Yeah,
That was the adult joke where the like there's like the 2 or 3 parents in the actual audience are like, "Nah."
you're not really a real laugh, like a primal kind of like air escaping laugh.
Like,
But it is
you're already kind of breathing, so might as well like get this out of the way.
But it is one of those ones because I feel like I'm in like this, I'm in some other kind of like world somewhere. So when you say stuff like that, it's kind of like, oh well, it's not like
It doesn't kill it for me.
It's not like a Spider-Man where he's your friendly neighborhood Spider-Man in New York.
There was a time when I was younger when I really liked pop culture references or something like that. The references to stuff we had, because I guess to me it's like, I don't know why. It just to me, I guess it for lack of a better word, means not gonna say relatable, but there's something about yeah. I'm gonna say it was something like, oh, maybe it's a little bit more mature than I thought. Now it just seems kind of obnoxious for a lot of things. But there's those things where like I don't know, like that right there. It just I'm not really going anywhere with this statement, but yeah.
Yeah, it breaks the fourth wall. That's all I gotta say.
I guess just the self-awareness of like, oh yeah, that's that. Like I was smart enough to acknowledge it. I guess that was enough for me as a kid. But now it's almost just like I think I see it too much in things. So I don't care anymore.
Yeah. Well, there's the part too.
Boy,
like,
that was
this
smooth. That one's so smooth right there.
This is what I think about. Okay, everybody here like this humongous like waves and tsunami of what force is going on, and only 3 people show up on the island, which means that everybody else probably fucking drowned or
You
whatever.
saw someone riding on a Firo that we don't see that person again.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I guess it kind of like resets
guess they
itself.
could
They Deus Machina, but
I'm not even sure if they Deus Machina. I'm not sure if it's like he resets time. I think he almost just like
you fucking
This
turn
never-
back time. If Mewtwo could sing a song, he's like, I always
don't know why
wanted
he
to be
sings-
a pop star.
I don't know why Cher sings that way, but
Sure, and Mewtwo have the same voice.
Mewtwo, voiced by Cher. No, I was gonna say, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does the Deus Ex Machina thing.
Because he is pretty much like a god who makes a decision.
I thought it was something kind of like he just wiped their memories and just moved them back there after all that shit happened, and everybody else was still just waiting for the storm to calm down. I thought it was something like that at the end. Maybe I'm wrong though.
Yeah, that would make more sense, but it felt like he like wiped their memory and Just
You know what? I'm gonna say it. This may be fucked up. I hope they're dead. It gives this movie some more stakes.
Exactly. You know what? Because, not everybody can be a Pokemon master.
No, you got Darwin.
This is almost kind of like fucking Enter the Dragon / Mortal Kombat, where they kind of come to this island, and this guy's invited them all here for a tournament, in a sense, except for it's against himself.
I noticed that not all, but most anime movies that they're already based on some other like series, usually take place in one spot. Like, we got to go to this one spot, and we're gonna stay here for most of the movie. We might go to the other room, or might go to another part of town for a minute.
I'll go to the other room.
Yeah, but that's the thing about this. Most of this is just taking place on this island, in like the stadium. For a minute, Ash goes like 2 rooms down to like the cloning facility, then comes right back. And like, think about, because there is like, all right, I'm thinking like nearly every Dragon Ball Z movie.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking,
Which, you know what's the funny thing, though? Is they're all shows where they're like continual adventures where they're going all over the place. And then for some reason, the movie is when they just come to a centered area. Maybe that's breaking up the mold.
Now, like, even like the Full Metal Alchemist movie, I never saw the Brotherhood one, but the one that was the ending to the first series. That one, they mostly took place in Germany the whole time. Most of it was just taking place in this town in Germany.
Once again, it's a show about adventure, and in the movie they stop.
Which apparently that movie was originally going to be like a 3-hour movie, but they just backed out, like, that's too long. But like, you know what? You already have this long-ass going show. Might as well just have this long-ass movie to end it.
Yeah, why not?
It's just because that movie always kind of seems sort of like, we had this, it seems kind of like, we want to go in like European history, how World War I kind of led into World War II, and how interesting that is. Like, oh wait, fuck, this is a Full Metal Alchemist movie. Throw in some alchemy at the end, and once in a while we'll cut back to Al, what he's doing. Now, this right here, I'm gonna say this: whether you love or hate Pokemon, how the fuck do you want to kill that thing?
Yeah, it's like so adorable.
Just like,
look at him, he's riding the windmill.
I mean, this is solely made just to like sell a stuffed animal, but still, how do you want to kill that? Like, you think you're better than me? Meow! I'm gonna fucking kill you. Meow!
There's always gonna be some kind of Pokemon poacher. Well, I was telling you this. I'm like, this is something I've thought about throughout my entire time playing Pokemon. But I always thought it'd be cool to have, like, on one of the next Pokemon games, where you could almost, like, at the beginning, you almost choose a class. Like, almost kind of like a Lord of the Rings adventure game. But instead, you go, okay, you can be the Pokemon trainer like usual. You could be a Pokemon breeder, sort of like Brock. But here's the really cool one. You could be a Team Rocket member. And you kind of, it changes almost the whole game around when you do this. And you go around doing dastardly things, but you see it more from their perspective, too. So, you're running your business and stuff, you're taking over places, you're extorting people, you're stealing Pokemon, you get to do all this cool stuff, and I know they probably don't want to do that, because they're like, well, this is just going to take
on top of all the memory that...
Jerk-off Johnny's going to play this game, and next thing you know, he's going to start a life of crime.
Well, I mean, I think it's one of those things, I think a Team Rocket game, it almost his own thing, I think that's a cool option there, but there's already so much, I mean, we could get there someday, but there's already so much memory in there for all the characters you have. And I guess the different, like, intersecting plot points.
But the thing, I think, a Team Rocket game in itself would be just badass.
Mm-hmm. And you could play a little different, I mean...
And the cool thing, too, is what if it had it, like, where you start building, like, you built it up, too. So not only were you, doing just the regular story stuff, but you became higher and higher ranked leader until the very end of the game is almost like you become, like, Giovanni's, like, successor.
Or you could, like, turn on Giovanni. You, like, start a
It gives you options, too, yeah.
Like, almost kind of Godfather thing, like Giovanni's in, like, a bed with a hooker, and you see, like, a fucking Charmander in there.
like light him on fire?
Yeah, like in fucking Godfather at the end, like, how they're just going, hitting all the mob bosses at the same time, We got, like, 5 minutes to hit all these mob bosses at once.
That'd be badass.
Before you'd have rained your power, your fucking girlfriend. It's like, he's like, I don't know, like, Blue, did you do it? No, I'm not gonna do it. I just need you to ask, just one time I'll let you ask me a question about what I do. Alright. Did you kill him? No. And then you have the slow, like, just him closing the door on him.
Yeah, look at the size of that fucking Pidgeot.
I think they're always that big. We were so used to seeing Pidgeotto,
I guess. The game.
They always look so surprised, like, oh! Oh! Like, he hasn't seen, like, already these things, like, a million fucking times.
This is kind of this guy right here.
There's like, Fred Durst.
Yeah, exactly.
Fred Durst with, like, as a Pokemon trainer. Like, that's my Pokemon, I just
rode my jet ski here.
yeah. My dad bought it. He owns a dealership.
Powered by Mountain Dew.
She seems kind of like, you know.
She's like, it's like, you almost kind of wonder, like, how'd you get here, I guess?
She got there on the Dudong.
Dudong.
I will say they did get a varied type. It wasn't just like the usuals. It was kind of the varied type they had there.
But that's sort of what reminds me of, like, Enter the Dragon, almost.
Well, they don't battle each other. I will say, like, this movie was all, like, predicated, like, it's a big deal. Mewtwo versus fucking Mew. And then...
I mean, it says on the fucking cover.
Yeah, but then they're bouncing balls against each other the whole time.
But they're slapping dicks together.
And then there was... Then, like, right here, like, I'm almost kind of wondering, like, you know, if, like, when Mewtwo comes down, like, his intro music, like, more than a feeling, more than a feeling. Please welcome the most greatest Pokemon master of all time.
His favorite karaoke band is Foreigner.
Or what? I think that's actually Kansas right there. More than a feeling. I think it's Kansas.
That is, yeah.
Or what if it was like, or what if it was just like keep rolling, rolling, rolling.
Keep rolling.
All this Team Rocket stuff. And the only thing Team Rocket's there for is to stumble across the audio file. They had time to orchestrate before the guy blew up.
Yeah, exactly.
Ooh, it's kind of a 3D layer there. But yeah.
Good old Jesse and James.
I can't believe I didn't realize Jesse James until like 5 years ago.
And then they got Butch and Cassidy.
Yeah, Butch Cassidy. I can't believe I didn't put that together until like 5 years ago, which, you know, whatever.
Whatever. Can't.
Not the smart. I've never been the smartest guy, so I'll fully admit that. But it's like, what the fuck?
You've always been the Ash of the group?
No, I haven't been the Ash. I haven't been the Ash. Well, here's
I love how this guy really quickly. I love how Fred Durst stands up. He's like, "A Pokemon can't own another Pokemon." Like he has like the same reaction that some of those people have in Django Unchained when Django comes out saying that he's a slave owner.
Like, you can't do that. He's
a
like,
Blackie can't own other ones. What's going on? So of course this is where he first tries to attack, and he's like, "Get him!"
Like Mewtwo to the other Pokemon, he's kind of like, "Oh, you Uncle Tom motherfuckers." You know? That's how he views the other Pokemon. Right here, like this does seem kind of like a classist, racist thing he's doing that right here.
Yeah.
I am kind of getting like a little bit of the Mewtwo, like, you know, kind of like the Magneto kind of thing right here.
Well, that's almost kind of what Mewtwo's like. He is like the Magneto of the Pokemon universe.
And the Shadow the Hedgehog.
Yeah, Shadow the Hedgehog.
Shadow
the Hedgehog came way later, or a little bit later, but...
He came a little later. Even though Shadow's gonna be angsty, kind of like, what am I? You know, I think...
Shadow's really like, he's like the goth kid grown up.
Yeah, he never got rid of the My Chemical Romance or Used posters. They're still there.
I guess for that time it'd be almost like Marilyn Manson. Because
I guess Marilyn Manson. I just got the image of Shadow just moshing in his room. Beautiful people, the beautiful people.
Just like bouncing up and down his shoulders.
With his head down. Like
Robotnik knocks on the door.
Shadow? Not done!
Gotta get pumped up. He's like, "Shadow, we gotta take down Sonic the Hedgehog."
Like Robotnik's his surrogate father.
He's like, even though I hate this hedgehog, I like to circle myself with other hedgehogs.
Other animals. Like,
I have a robot hedgehog.
You think for something he hates, he wouldn't just keep on trying to make parodies of him, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
He's got like fucking 3 or 4 of these parody things. He's just like, today was a bad day at work. Got my ass kicked by the hedgehog. And walks in the building. There's like 5 of them there. Like, hey boss, just like, fuck!
Stop reminding me, Snively.
Yes, sir.
Throw them in the dumpster with the others.
I kind of miss just like the more evil Robotnik from the Sack cartoon, where he was way more scarier than just like, I am Dr. Eggman, blah, 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 whatever.
Yeah, I don't like when they make him look goofy, or even like in Sonic Boom, where he's almost just this guy. Well, it's weird. It's like a sitcom in that show. I don't even know how else to describe it more than that.
Mm-hmm. He's almost just kind of like, oh yeah, there's the guy that tries to kill us every other day in the market. Not a big deal.
Yeah, there's old Steve over there who's a little bit knifey.
Just don't get too close to him.
After he's got a couple of drinks in him, he just starts stabbing the air. But you get too close.
So here we go. I love how the guy had time to like, look, I know that we're all about to die and blow up, but I'm gonna just take this time to like, string this thing together real quick with all these files.
They go like
And I'll say like the designs of these things look kind of really like macabre and kind of dark in comparison to like any other design for the rest of the show. You know, I mean it's the movies. They need to make things set the stakes a little higher. I mean that's how all the movies always felt. You know.
Yeah, exactly. They try to clone me out. They got to clone me out here.
Like this part coming up in a second was kind of clever because it was just sort of a shout out. I wonder if they did that in the original like Japanese version, or if it was just for this. But I thought it was kind of clever. Like, who's that Pokemon?
Oh yeah.
It's Meowth.
It's all in like 3D. Which at this time period, when you saw CG, you're like, oh fuck.
Well, you knew
They
it was
spent some money on that shot.
yeah, you knew it was a big deal when you saw CG in a 2D movie.
Which in retrospect, when you see CG and 2D stuff, you're like, oh, someone just didn't feel like drawing that.
Yeah, it at the time though it did seem like it was a big deal. Me was just like, the fuck's going on, y'all? But yeah, in this part right here, I heard that in the there's like because there was like Mewtwo Returns or whatever. I never saw it, but there's like
Is that the fourth movie?
not the fourth movie. The fourth one, I don't remember. It was like that. It was like that one's about that green fairy one. There's like that short green fairy thing with.
No.
I don't. I think it's out of gold.
Because I want to say I almost stopped, and number 3 was the last one I really like remember watching.
Number 3 was about the like legendary wolves, right, or lions or something. Because originally it was because in blue, because in like because the blue and red it was the legendary birds, and then silver and gold it was the legendary.
It was Ho-Oh and Lugia.
Yeah, well, no, then there's also the legendary.
Oh.
Legendary cats or the legendary
that's right.
dogs.
Those are in that one too. For some reason, I was thinking
And
that was in the
think
Ruby
the
and
third
Sapphire.
one's about the legendary dog because I'm just in the fire dog thing.
Oh, the ones from
Fire
Ruby
Lion?
and Sapphire.
Maybe that's what it was. Yeah.
No, I think that's about right.
But anyway, yeah. So anyway, there's one that went straight to video, and maybe that went to theaters in Japan. After a while, the ones that are just about as good a quality as this.
Well,
stopped.
2000, I think, was the last one in America that came to theaters.
No, and then the fourth one went to theaters. I think the fourth one was the last one.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, maybe they just had really short runs by that point.
And then, like, I remember when I first moved to Sonora, that when, like, before I actually, this is going to sound so sad, before I actually had any friends and really knew anybody, on the weekends, I just
And you just walk around town like, what it would be to be a Pokemon master.
At that point, I was just kind of like, no, that shit's behind me. I'm done. I'm
You're
done.
like, no,
You know?
I gotta be cool now. I gotta get my James Dean on.
No, I remember actually going. I remember it was that time where before I really knew anybody, and I was just like, all right, it's a weekend, so I guess I'll just go to the movies by myself. And I went to go see it. Like, no, I'm not gonna go see Pokemon Forever, the fourth one. I'm gonna go see.
I'm gonna pay to go see this movie and sneak into Pokemon.
That way, no one will judge me. No, but I remember like that was like, oh, that's still coming out. Okay, and then I think there's like at least a handful more that probably went to theaters, but didn't really. Well,
probably by this point, I bet you there's like 15 movies or so.
Yeah, there probably are, but they stopped coming to American theaters after the fourth one, I think. So,
Yeah.
yeah. I remember the movie I saw. It was like some like lame ass romantic comedy with Elizabeth Hurley and one of the guys from Friends.
So it came to the point where you probably should have just stopped Pokemon Forever.
It probably would have been just as like intellectual.
A little bit more entertaining, maybe.
Possibly, looking back on it, yeah. But there was one that went straight to video and DVD. It was like Mewtwo's Return or whatever. And you found out the doctor that was working on him or something was like was actually learn how to clone like Pokemon, so you could learn how to clone his dead daughter. And then like there's a baby Mewtwo that like was just basically taught like lessons of life through the little girl, but then she died, and then they erased his memory from it, so he doesn't remember any of that from right here.
Oh, so it got serious there, so.
So it is kind of shadowish when you think about it.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and then Giovanni comes in there again. I never saw it, but that's just, I heard just kind of like a sum up of it somewhere on YouTube.
When Blastoise comes out of there, it just reminds me of like Ace Ventura coming out of that
The
rhino.
rhino's butthole.
Yeah. It just looks like it's kind of like, oh,
Look at he's fitting it right there.
Yeah. And he's kind of walking like he was just raped.
I just, oh shit.
Oh, that prison sex rough.
Venusaur just like, yeah, it's it. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, that was the one giving the rape.
Yeah. That's right, boy. You keep walking. Right behind you. You better keep walking.
I see you. You stay in front of me because you're my bitch.
Yeah, you're my bitch. That's really, it's like the prison rape, like, triangle thing right there. Like one, like, well, like Charizard's the prison bitch, so like Blastoise.
And they're all prison bitches than Venusaur.
Yeah. Well, Venusaur's the prison bitch to I'm getting mixed up. You know what I mean? Though it's the rock paper scissors thing.
Yeah. See, and I like how Mewtwo's kind of like, I started off as a Pokemon trainer with the 3 originals, just like Red and Blue.
Where it's just like, that was a big deal. Like, that's why you'd almost kind of like have to get the second game. It was the second Game Boy just to like...
just to trade him over.
Yeah, to get him over. Then they just come out with Yellow. Like, motherfucker. This way I can get them all.
Yeah, Yellow's just a smart way to play it through. But then you're like...
How are you to know, though? How are you to know they would do that, and then they take things from the actual show and just, like, put the pixels in there for them?
Zach could put Jesse James, put in...
Like, that wasn't even a big deal. It was cool. They had that, but it was more like they just took the character designs from the show and you faced them, like, the few times you did. And then,
Well, I think they changed a lot. Like, it was just... There's a bunch of little stuff in Yellow. Like,
I mean, it was all, like, it was for color, so... Everybody was redesigned, but if you bumped into Brock or Misty, they looked exactly how they did in the show.
yeah, instead of looking like a
Pikachu
little bit
was your
different.
starter, and you talk to him. Like, Pikachu! It was basically the same game, but it just felt like a whole new thing when you first played it. Especially since you get the starters later in the line.
Plus, because I also had the special Pikachu Edition Game Boy Color that came with it. Which I'm kind of hoping that they're going to have a special Pokemon edition of the 3DX. I'm just going to go out and get the new 3DS with the fucking XL and everything. And I'm like, finally, this will be my time for getting it. I'll get it when Pokemon Sun and Moon comes out.
This is like advertisement for Nintendo right here. It's like the episode of Rick and Morty. Like, guys, if we go down to Walmart, we can all get the special Legend of Zelda like DSs. They're not just any DS. They're the Zelda ones. He like leans to the camera. Nintendo, send me free shit.
That's how I feel every day.
This right here. Now, I will say that this is one of those things I get. It's kind of like good versus evil kind of thing right here, but
Clones versus
the originals. But I think it would have been more interesting if they just went against like other like Pokemon rather than fighting themselves the whole time.
Yeah, well, and the weird thing too is like they send
Fuck his ass up, bitch.
What I think should really happen here. Now this is going back and trying to like redirect a cartoon that's almost
That came
20
out like 20 years ago almost.
Yeah, is instead of sending like Venusaur against Venusaur, it should have been that like whatever Pokemon they chose, Mewtwo would choose the one that was like weak against them just to prove how much of a badass he was. Like, oh, you got a Venusaur? Well, here's my Blastoise. Even though he's weak against your Venusaur, he could still kick your fucking ass.
Like, this is kind of cool right here. The animation was pretty good for like the fight and all that, but then it's like, oh, that was over quickly.
Yeah, it's like chuck his ass out.
I remember like this part. I mean, I'm not sure if it's the original music, but the musical score for this whole battle was actually pretty good. I remember that.
Yeah, no, like the score is great, which is probably the Japanese score. It's just the couple of like songs they throw in there, like we gotta throw some pop songs in, so all the like local kids. Which I bet you if they would have just had the pop songs they had in Japan would have been much. They would have fit better, I think.
Probably, yeah. Like shell shock, no.
He's just sitting there like whoop, 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 spinning his head around.
Like this part right here. He's like, oh well, just luckily I just happen to have a Charizard. You know, those other guys just came out. Like, this is still the point. This is one of the reasons I always fucking hated Ash, is because he would... Well, first off, I think we both said this before. He is, like, the representation of the participation trophy.
Well, Ash really defines the modern worldview where, like, you could still get a trophy. All you have to do is show up. You don't have to be good. You don't have to be the best. You just gotta show up and you will win, because that is literally what happens.
Your friends will help
probably do all the heavy lifting for you.
That's literally what happens. He always gets help from someone else. He never really completely got it. And they mentioned it, but they just kind of like shrug it to the side. Like, well, Ash, think of like when he lost at like I think the Indigo Plateau. Like, well, think about it, Ash. You always had help from someone else when you got there. And he's like, oh, well.
Probably Ash was like, no, I didn't. Yeah, right. I fucking did it on my own, huh? Huh? Yeah, it was all me. All me and Pikachu.
Right, Pikachu, bigger!
Represent! And Brock's like, no, like, practically everybody fucking donated their badge to you because they felt sorry for you because you're fucking lame and useless. Just gonna say it.
My dad helped you.
You just sort of a chick magnet. That's why I fucking hung out with you.
Yeah. For some reason, this chick wants to hang out with you. I don't know why. She cares more about that than her bike. Let me tell you that much.
And there's still no bike. It doesn't exist.
She almost forgot about it until I mentioned it. These villains right here, they look kind of like these like little ball things, like Castlevania villains to me.
Yeah, they're kind of like eyes and everything like that.
Like, you know,
like you should be able to like hit them with your whip.
Yeah. Just for insult, just add insult to injury. Just he's like, oh fuck, I'm just gonna throw.
Well, in Castlevania, they have that enemy that has like the big eye on it. It's got the little tail thing, and it like kind of comes up towards you.
It just looks like something you see in some dark fantasy side scroller, you know.
And this is where they can like capture.
All the big ones are fucked. Like, where are they gonna go?
Yeah, exactly. It's just like, oh no, take the Pokemon to clone them.
Scyther. You got kind of all these, you know, you got kind of all these big ones just for a second. Like, no, Dudong. You always felt bad because Dudong just had such a goofy ass voice. Vileplume had like the Southern Belle thing. Like
Vileplume.
Yeah.
Look at Squirtle. He's so cute.
Yeah.
How can you not like those starters?
The starters are all likable and wiggly tough. But no, I was gonna say something regarding Mewtwo here. Like, I think they did a good job of just making that. I think Mewtwo is the first good villain they had. Actually.
Yeah, I guess that is kind of a
as
villain.
far as the shows go. I mean, as it goes on, he's not. But I mean, he's always one of the darker, more ominous, more scary looking ones. You know.
Yeah, he's sort of like the Apocalypse, I guess, almost. Even though he's got more reason than that. Like these things could capture a Pokeball itself.
But what was I gonna say regarding that? He's like, not the Vulpix.
He's like, run! Before he just captured.
You think she'd be
rocks.
fine with? You think she'd be fine with the Psyduck? Like, oh, there goes that. Okay.
Yeah, there goes that. Like, I can't take care of that handicapped kid anymore.
Psyduck was like the special ed of them all.
It was kind of like women like, oh, I got a special ed child. Great. Oh, I have to raise this as it sings the SpongeBob SquarePants song at top voice.
I gotta give it a helmet to cross the street.
Yeah. And in the middle of the night, it just wakes up screaming.
It somehow found a way to hurt itself inside its Pokeball. It found a way. Which, I know they have, like, jokes about it, but I'm really curious, in the context of the show, like, what is it? Does time just stop in the Pokeball and they stay forever young? It's like taking a long-ass nap, or they just wake up? Or is it just kind of like they got, like, a penthouse in there or some shit?
Oh, yeah, I know. I always kind of wanted to. I really think that realistically, as far as Pokemon goes realistically, what happens is they get sucked in there, and it's almost like they're in, like, a stasis where it's not like they're in like an apartment.
They're not conscious. Or
yeah,
anything.
they're almost just, they become like an energy mass. They like converts them to like that, what they kind of look like when they go in there. So in a sense, it's almost like slumber.
So
they're in a coma pretty much.
It's just like, come on, time to go to sleep. It seems so fucked up. It's like one of those things, like, I think that, like, people every once in a while talk about, they should make a live-action Pokemon movie, which, you know, chances are I'd see that. But at the same time, now that I'm older, even though I'm going around playing the game, I find myself kind of thinking, like, and I know this joke's been made 1,000 times, but I kind of find myself thinking, like, well, what if, like, I think to be the whole moral question of, like, well, we're kind of technically enslaving these things, you know?
I know, that's really what, I mean, you're enslaving creatures to fight for you so you could be cool and have badges.
I think this is the most
Which works perfect in, like, a video game concept, but, like, yeah, when you do kind of think about it, it's kind of...
I think the show kind of added a lot more personality and character to them, because the whole thing was, what happens when you bump into them? They attack you. I think because before in the game, it was like they're just these wild animals. They attack you, so you feel kind of justified. Like, now you work for me. But, because I remember, like, that was the things like, you can't go up there, it's dangerous, there's wild Pokemon. You might get, like, gnawed to death by a fucking Rattata, you know?
Which it really is, kind of, if you think about it in real life, it's like, Pokemon World's kind of a dangerous one to go be, like, storming around the fucking tall grass.
Well, I'm kind of wondering, like, as far as, because, you know, in the game, you know, because technically you can't die, but in the context of the thing, I guess, you know, what's a Gyarados? It's not going to be like, oh, you're in Gyarados territory, he just smacks you and you go away. Thing's probably going to want to eat
the whole thing, yeah.
Thing's going to probably want to eat you or some shit.
And then at the end of the day, you just become
Pikachus
Gyarados
aren't
shit.
like they look cute, but they're just like really rabid, like raccoons. Like,
Got rabies and everything.
only they like an electric raccoon, basically.
There's an electric coon coming after you now, boy. Get him! Get the shotgun out! Get the shotgun! Get the Poke Shotgun!
You know, there's got to be, because Pokemon Society is entirely built around Pokemon. It's nothing to the. It's basically, you said this earlier. It's kind of like the newer, evolved version of Flintstones.
Yeah.
Society entirely runs around these animals. You're not just like, okay, it's like, okay, there's a fucking dinosaur inside my car or whatever the fuck.
But it's like I said, they got like, well, there's a Magnemite powering my like electricity.
Yeah, not even that though. It's all just kind of like, well, what are we? Well, I'm gonna become a Pokemon trainer. Well, what are you gonna do? Well, I'm gonna run a Pokemon store. What are you gonna do? I'm gonna run a Pokemon daycare center. What are you? I'm gonna run a Pokemon school. You know, and it's like, I wonder if there's ever the guy who's just kind of like, you know what? I just want to run a liquor store. Is it like are you gonna sell Pokemon supplies there? Well, I guess I can sell like maybe a revive or a potion by like, you know, the candy or whatever. But beyond that, there's a rare candy. Well,
No, it's just regular candy.
What?
You know, or there's the guy who's like, you know, I just want to open up, you know, a hardware store where we sell, you know, hammers and tools and, you know, things for people. So Poke Tools. No, not
So
necessarily.
you're gonna sell like Poke Readers. So you know what Pokemon are in the area, or you're gonna sell like I just want to sell like a game and supplies. So like a fishing line. Yeah, a fishing line. So you can catch Pokemon. Well, no, so you can catch fish. But I guess you could do that.
You know who had to take the most amount of shit actually in the game is the guy who started the bicycle store. Because the guy that's got the bicycle store literally is that guy who's like, oh, so you're selling Pokemon? No. Well, what are we gonna need a bike for? I mean, like, I could hop on the back of my Pokemon and ride them. Some of them could swim. Some of them could fly. What do I need a bike for?
I don't know, just for fun.
You
It's
know,
a bike.
exercise.
It's like, fuck that! They just get very private.
Whoa, some fat guy gets like on his Venusaur, like, take me. The Venusaur's just under all the weight, like,
Venusaurs are fucking big, too.
Yeah, but this guy's 600 pounds big.
Like, beyond comic book guy from The Simpsons big.
Yeah, this guy's like up there and he's like got his big fucking like
Dragon
48
Dragon.
ounce like, you know, milkshake. He's like,
He's wearing like one of those like hats. You see it like one of those helmets. Like you see it in like a football game, like with two straws going in there.
he's like, I haven't had a walk in 40 years.
Now here's Ash coming in.
Venusaur, to the bathroom. Bathroom.
It's like a more crueler version of Wall-E.
Yeah, exactly.
No, this is like this is like the thing. Like we're gonna make Ash look like a badass. You're gonna come in like this military drums just walking in. Like,
Yeah, he's like,
it's hard to make Ash look like a badass. It's so fucking hard. Even as a kid, I was like, okay, yeah, there you are. Like, I'll say this. People might take this the wrong way. Please don't. But all the female character designs were always a little bit more interesting than male character designs in Pokemon, I thought.
What about
So
Brock?
they always looked like Ash. Oh, Brock was cool looking. But I mean, and I don't mean Misty or anybody, but I mean, as far as the gym leaders go, I thought they always looked kind of cooler. Actually, Toga or Kyoto, the poison guy, he was cool looking. But
Yeah.
like, I don't know. As far as like the trainers though, when you pick the
What about
trainers,
Lieutenant Surge? He's pretty cool.
yeah, Lieutenant Surge is cool. But I mean, as far as the trainers go, I always thought the trainers looked kind of like the ones you pick as. Like, the guy characters always look kind of like, I don't know, maybe because they look so much like Ash.
Well, this sounds weird, but
Here's an example. Like, yeah, that was going to fucking work. You're going to throw a punch.
it'd be fun if he just runs up and just like, oh, I'm gonna kick you in the fucking dick. Like, it's like, that's my self-defense training. I was raised by my mother.
Yeah. I don't know you. Give me back my purse. Look, here, once again, Ash being saved by something else.
That's...
Like, you know, if it wasn't for, like, the help of other people, Ash would have been dead so fucking long ago.
But as you were saying about those Pokemon trainers, though, like, whenever I play a Pokemon game, I almost go, I should just play as the woman because they look way cooler. The guy always looks fucking lame. Like, even on Pokemon Go, I was like, I didn't even want to really be the guy. I almost kind of was like, I know I should be the guy because I'm a guy, but he does not look cool at all.
I'm actually so kind of like, I had nothing to do with it, but it's almost kind of like, it's a weird, all right, so my family up here, they own a business, they own a restaurant, and they heard about Pokemon Go, like, whatever, and then they found out the lure thing that brings people there to collect on supplies. So, in order for that to happen, for them to put a lure there, my mom had to make a profile, had to create a character, had to collect a starter, and then had to go on and put. She says, "Yeah, somebody there was showing me how it works, but you still had to do that. You still had to.
So you literally just
You
play
still
Pokemon.
have Pokemon on your phone." And she's like, "No, well, it's for the business. Like, but you still have it on your phone." Did you ever...
I knew you would come around, Mom.
Yeah.
I knew you would come around. Remember Pokemon the first movie? You didn't. You said, this won't
Stupid,
last,"
yeah.
and now you're playing it.
Kind of came back around. I remember, like, I was showing my. I wasn't even playing, like, oh, yeah, Dad, check this out. Like, I was just, like, in the kitchen just checking the map. My dad's like, is that fucking Pokemon game? Yeah. And I show him, like, oh, look, we got a Weedle in the kitchen, Dad. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Like, yeah. Guess you gotta take better care of the kitchen, right, Dad?
Ha ha ha! Nudging with my elbow.
Just got bugs running all over the place.
I want you to leave and never come back, son. What? No, never come back.
You're going down that road now, and you never come back. You never come back, you see?
Go! Just go! Gives me, like, a stick and bindle.
Is it a pokey sticky window? Oh!
For some reason, my dad turns into Jimmy Stewart.
But now we've just gotten so lost in what's going on.
So now they're all about to just brawl. Like, this part seems like it's such a cool setup. Like, my strong and genetically enhanced ones are gonna fight yours, and they just like come in like music, bring it, bitch, and they just charge, and then it just kind of
Going their orb things.
No. They charge. Like they're just about to charge. It seems like it's gonna be this big badass brawl. Then it just immediately goes to that "My brother" song.
Fighting with your friends.
Not so cool in '90s.
Yeah, it's just that weird 90s, and then you get a little chime background like.
Yeah, I remember like that. This song.
Hadouken!
There's always the Hadouken move in every video game.
I don't care what it is. Anybody, it's like no matter what. After Street Fighter,
You can't.
somebody throws some type of fireball thing. It's a Hadouken.
Yeah.
So even when Mewtwo, when I remember when I played on Smash Bros, it's like he's shooting a fucking Hadouken, a curvy Hadouken too. It kind of weaves in.
This part right here.
I like how like Ash's Pokemon are like, are we
Should
supposed
we?
to fight?
Are we gonna? Okay, we're doing
You
this.
know we're a
Alright.
lot smaller than everybody else.
Ash likes to keep his cute and cuddly for like I think the brand makes them easier to sell.
Have you ever thought that like would it be a better idea just to evolve a Bulbasaur or not evolve, but to level up a Bulbasaur to level 100 or turn to a Venusaur and go to level 100?
I think whatever you prefer, whatever the cosmetic thing looks. I mean, for shits and giggles, I know you're gonna judge me for this because I heard you complain about this kind of shit before. I never told you because I don't want to get ridiculed, but here we are.
It's okay. You ridiculed me for choosing a Bulbasaur as my starting Pokemon.
Yeah, I
Pokemon
did.
Go.
I don't take that shit back. So, but anyway.
So by this point, we're all kind of fair game.
There was the I remember like when I got yellow, just for like to divvy it up because I almost like to imagine like when you're a kid. Don't fucking lie. If you're a big Pokemon fan, you almost kind of wish, like, man, I wish I can be Ash. Not Ash exactly, but you wish
you wish you would just had
place.
that lifestyle.
You're in his place. You're in his place as a kid, and then just only not doing stupid fucking shit. But I remember like just to have my team all varied up. I kind of like had like my Squirtle just stay a Squirtle up until like level like 30 something, you know what I mean? Like level 31 or 32, just so I kicked your ass as a Squirtle, haha.
Well, that actually does. I kind of like the idea of that, just keeping it at one place, just so you can have a really badass fucking Pokemon that looks. It's almost like, oh, it's just a fucking Growlithe, but then you're like, yeah, it's level 100 Growlithe.
But plus the team was like really just like varied. I remember what my team because you even when you got really far, you could have like Mew, but one of the funnest things was almost restarting the game. And going from the scratch, because even when you had a bunch of like a badass team and all your favorite characters, one of the funnest things is going back and replaying the game just for the first three or four when you just kind of have this scrappy weird team. By the time you get to the fourth or fifth gym,
Temple.
Yeah, I played Zelda lately. Fourth or fifth gym, it's a little bit more. You got a badass team by that point,
Oh yeah. Well, it's like the one thing about Pokemon too. It's kind of nice to almost start the game too, and then trade some Pokemon that you don't get to way later, but then use those sort of as your starting ones. That's always kind of fun as well.
Ow, right shot right there.
I know.
Now, I've said this before on the show, and people are going to judge me, but I mean, they probably already got all the judgment out of the way. This is like the last movie I actually cried on, and I was in the 5th or 6th grade when this came out.
Really? Like every other movie now I watch, I cry at.
I've come close.
It's just always like, it's so sad.
Don't go, Paul Walker. Don't go the other way of Vin Diesel.
They're waving goodbye. No, that part always gets me every single time I watch Fast and Furious 7.
Well, like, I mean, there's movies.
I don't know what it is. Maybe it's like you get older. It's just everything seems so sad.
Everything
Life's
seems
so
much more
precious.
I almost fucking. I mean, I got like teary-eyed, but not like full on like bawling. No tears streaming down, but I can almost feel them coming. But then just like nope, get back in there. This is seriously the last movie I actually full on cried on, and it was. It's gonna be coming in a minute. I think Pikachu already faced him, but it's when the other Pikachu's like, "We gotta fight! We gotta fight! He beats us if we don't fight!" And he's just like slapping him, crying.
Yeah, he's just like, "I'll just take it like a man." I'm like, Pikachu starts to go, "Take it like a man, bro."
There's got to be a Pokemon like Fight Club parody by this point.
Poke Club.
There's got to be something like that. Now here is the part where they just totally spoon feed you the, "Hey kids, don't hate other people for being born different." I guess they are trying to do sort of a metaphor on racism right here or something like that.
Some people are clones out there in the world.
You should not judge them. Now they do a good job of making like other Meowths cute, because this one's like, "Yeah, I'm Woody Allen Meowth," and this one.
I like to break the fourth wall, meow, meow.
You know what I'm saying, Meowth? And I liked how it almost took like 3 years for them to actually explain how the fuck did this thing learn to talk.
Yeah, and how other people in the world just don't go like, "Huh, talking meow."
Yeah,
That's real special.
That's neat. Yeah, they'd almost just brush it off. Like, "Oh, it's talking Meowth." They'd be more surprised they have like a fucking blimp shape of a Magikarp or whatever.
Yeah, they're like, "Oh, look at that Magikarp. Such detail."
Magikarp blimp. Yeah, look at that. Oh, it's dropping bombs on us. Oh no.
So there's ball bashing. Get
Slapping
your balls to the wall, man.
Slapping balls at each other. No, I will say though, for being like the whole like this would be they were making it out like this would be the greatest Pokemon battle of all time. It just becomes just these two guys just slapping balls against each other, which is not as fun.
It'd be funny if they're just up there slapping dicks.
Yeah. But no genitalia, so just be bumping, just
Yeah,
boop, boop. Like this part right here is where it's starting to come in. Like, no,
Pikachu's just like, I'll just take it.
Pikachu's like, we're not gonna fight, dude. We can't fight. Where, as a kid, it's like tear jerking because it's cute. It's cuteness getting beaten. But I think to adults, just like Pika, like you don't get it, Mom.
It's just, well, there's just not that. You know, I will say it's like if you don't have that connection of like it goes with any show. It doesn't matter if it's a kids cartoon or if it's a full-on adult one. The more you watch it, the more you get like in touch with these characters.
Fight me! You fucking fight me!
It's like no.
She's my mother. She's my sister. She's my mother. She's my sister.
Just taking it left and right. Well, everybody else is like wrestling, fighting, like grabbing each other, like oh, like almost like 1940s Batman fighting. And then there's little tears coming out and everything.
There's the fact that you got just two things going. Pika, just one crying, one getting smacked around. And the one that's even beating him is the one that starts to cry and just break down. Like he doesn't want to do it anymore, but he has to.
It's like, I was born a clone.
I was born to kill. You know? I will say, though, the originals, though, I think the originals, the thing is they kind of, we've said this before on the show, but I'm pretty sure they just kind of leave out like, oh, right, they're fucking dead. You know, because that was the thing. It's like, it's fainted. Why can't I catch it after it's fainted?
Yeah, that seems like the most ideal time to catch a Pokemon.
It's like, well, there's an honor system.
Right,
if you're gonna go out, if you're gonna go out into the woods and beat the fuck out of an animal, at least have the decency to like keep it partially, you know, awake while you do it.
Yeah, we're not like Team Rocket now.
Yeah, but then it's just like, well, why can't I catch it? Well, it's fucking dead.
Yeah, it's like, what, you gotta carry a corpse around?
I don't think they want to make, like, you killed Pikachu. You know?
Yeah.
And plus, you gotta go out grinding, so that means you're going out killing small animals in order to... Because when you think about that, when you gotta go out and, like, go against Brock when you first play Blue or Red, you're going out, like, because, you know, there's only so many trainers in the area you can level up against. That means what are you gonna do? You're gonna go out and fight a bunch of Pidgeys, Ratatats, Caterpies.
Just leaving the woods is like, you know... dead animal baby.
And then after a while, they got to reach this point of just kind of like, they're coming, there's one!
Just all these kids walking in like, I gotta train my Pokemon, do.
Sitting like their Pokevision that's just like,
There's another one. It's like, there's one! Go, Rattata! Get the fucking shit out of him!
So like, it gets there, it's like, Jake? Frank? No, not you. They got me.
Jake isn't your friend anymore. I am now Sir Little Stevens.
I'm Bug Catcher Tom.
He calls me Little JoJo.
Yeah, he changed my name to Assface.
He says it's funny to his other 10-year-old friends.
I'm like this 10-year-old who just got turned to fucking stone. Right here, it's where he
Ash is
died.
he's like, I will stop the Kamehameha wave.
Where, you know, Ash is a dumbass. Now, here's one of those things, this is probably where the tears also really came. Because, in the context of the show, if you just watch this for the first time, it's like, okay, the cute thing is sad. That's kind of sad. But...
the cute thing is sad.
Yeah. Look, I mean, look, you can hate Pikachu all you want.
But he's adorable as fuck.
He's adorable as fuck. And... really, here's the thing right here.
Look, there's Pikachu up there on my mantle.
I see him. Yeah, he's always there.
Looks
The
like
battery's still...
looks like Hulk Hogan's like fucking him in the head.
So he looks like he's just grabbing him by the ears. You actually got the
No one's gonna hear you.
old-fashioned. You got the old-fashioned. Let's see if it pops up. Like, see if you hear that. It actually has the battery.
That's Japanese, you know, integrity right there. Fucking 1998, and the battery's still fucking working it.
But right here, that's like you never get a line like that in the show. Like, please no.
But Pikachu's just sitting there. He's trying his hardest to fucking revive Rash.
Rash.
Rash. He's trying to get that rash off him. No, he's trying to. And you're sitting there like, oh fuck, and look, he's all
Just the
teary
eyes.
eyes and everything. He's fucking. Crap.
And that voice right there, it's just kind of like, I don't know, it's subtitles, but it's like, oh fuck.
When we were watching this earlier, I was literally about to cry right here again. And then fucking this came on, and I couldn't help but laugh. When the Dunigan was like, "Go!" That stopped my crying. I was so
Squirtle,
close.
like,
Squirtle's sad once again because you know he's Squirtle,
But the
Dunigan,
no.
he fucking broke the moment.
But that whole part, because the thing I think it makes that part kind of sad is the fact that was like, Pikachu, like Ash would do or say something stupid, and Pikachu would sometimes electrocute him just as a joke, like Pikachu, and then right there, that's like that you're using the thing that would usually be a funny moment in the show, and just like
he's not coming back.
he's not getting back up.
But this is where we learn that 1,000 tears is what can heal a boy's stonage.
Wake up, Stone Boy. Wake up. Morgan Freeman calls for you.
As we see the tears pour into the little boy who tried, he's not the little boy who achieves, nor is he the little boy who's good at anything.
Nor is he the 300 other people that tried to cross the river but never made it.
But he is the one who has given all his faith into trying to be something he's not.
He'll still somehow get by just because that's what happens in this world.
So if there's a life lesson to take away from
Pikachu.
Pokemon, it's that you don't have to be good. You don't have to be the best. Just show up. Someone will give you something.
You don't have to be the best that ever was. You can be put to the test and train them as your cause. You'll still end up winning somehow just because other people feel bad for you. And just because you died right there. Like, hey, if you die and you cry hard enough, someone will come back to life. What's this movie teaching kids?
Yeah.
Hey, it all panned out. Look, there's no real consequence for me, Pikachu. I still kind of
like his dad, like, but Dad, when Grandma died, I cried my hardest and nothing happened. It's like, well, that's because it's real life, boy.
What if he's just like, Dad, why did it happen in real life? Quit being a faggot. I'm sorry, Dad.
Go get me another 6-pack of beer. But they don't sell beer at the movie theaters. That's why I hate this place. I hate it almost as much as I hate you.
But Dad, you said I was your sunshine.
That's when we were in NASCAR. That's a place where a man can express himself. In fact, some men get so happy that they pull their pants off and dance naked to each other. It's not gay, it's NASCAR.
It's like when we go to the rodeo, we just start like rubbing our belt buckles together. Our big rodeo belt buckles.
Click, 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 click. Oh yeah, that's right. Get some there. But the thing is there's a time and a place for all that.
It ain't here.
It ain't here, and there ain't beer. So
It ain't
beer
here,
is what
there-
makes two men get together.
It ain't here and there ain't beer. I like that. Like right here, they get Scythe like, Shah! He's the last one for a second where he's coming by.
Yeah, Rapid Dash.
I remember my dad, when I was watching this, because it was like one of those things, it wasn't like,
Dad, which Pokemon do you think's the coolest?
it was one of those things like, what happened, you'd put the movie on like, hey Mom, hey Dad, let's watch it. And they're like doing something else while it's playing. They'd kind of react, oh, that's nice. Oh, okay. And then by this point we were eating dinner, so they're just kind of glancing over it. And then like, whenever Scyther goes by, like, Scyther! And it's like, the fuck?
It's funny what makes him react. It's like, that was the one that put him over the edge.
I just remember, like, right when I was first starting into Pokemon, and they had the, it was right when, because the season 1, for at least for Americans, ended right where Charmander turned into Charmeleon. And then I'm tuning in next week, and like, oh, it's right at the beginning.
Which
and
pissed the fuck off. It was just like Dragon Ball Z and everything else. It was like,
there was no head, now you get like,
there's no warning or anything. All of a sudden it just restarted, and that was it.
it's like, fuck you, you're gonna watch it again anyway, But like, then I remember like just watching that, and that was like, my dad was just watching it with me. It was kind of like the cat dog thing. He was just watching it, not saying nothing.
It's a dog, it's a cat, it's a dog, it's a cat dog.
He's sitting there watching it with me, and then he's not really saying anything. He's just watching it, and then the show ends. He has a beer, turns and looks at me. He's just like, and this is your favorite show? Like, yeah, it is. It's my favorite show. He's like, fuck. Gets up. I just hear another
More
door.
beers cracked. See, this part 2 is like, Mewtwo sort of warps him back, and everybody's like,
I'm pretty
the
sure-
storm ended.
Because there's less people in there than there were when they first got in there, I think.
So maybe he did just return him, but kind of like
They
Men in
forgot.
Black to like wipe their memory, which is weird. It's like, you think you want to remember that big life lesson we all just learned?
If you cry hard enough, someone's going to come back to life.
Exactly, it's important.
I'm pretty sure. Like this right here, it's just sometimes they'll have trying a poignant moment, but they don't really have doesn't have the right words for it. She's like, "Well, I think I saw something. I didn't see anything, Ash. You must be fucking stupid." And you're like, "Well, or maybe he did see something and we just didn't see it either. Maybe." Okay, I'm glad we had that conversation.
Who's hungry? And that's when our friends today decide to go back on their Pokemon adventures. So tune in next week, kids, and wait for Pokemon 2000.
And get the new trading cards.
Because you got to come back and get them all, right?
Come back again. Maybe you might get the Zapdos. Or whatever.
Yeah, because there's still 3 others you don't have. And you don't want little Billy at school to have all 4 of them now, do you?
I want to say it was like, what were they for this? I want to say...
It was Dragonite.
It was Dragonite, maybe a Pikachu. I want to say a Mewtwo. And then I think there's something weird, like a Jigglypuff, like a Jigglytuff or a Clefairy or something like that. Something really weird like that.
Look, I like how Team Rocket, they're literally left on this like deserted island.
They're fine, just their sunscreen. They're just like, oh, it's happy here.
With no trees.
Yeah.
And no food or anything for us to eat.
You know, they're probably gonna, they're like, I'm pretty sure Jesse's into woman, James into guy, so it's not like, who are we gonna fuck? I don't know.
Yeah.
What?
They're like, well, Jesse's a lesbian and James is gay, so I guess we just gotta fuck the cat.
No! Looks like we're blasting off
credit
again.
scene.
Just like black, none of this like nice like a picture, none of this nice imagery of them just walking across the countryside or anything with this pop music playing by Christina Aguilera. It's just black background, rolling credits. Like no.
Ralph, shut your fucking mouth.
Wow, that was a ballsy way for them to end a kids movie. That rape scene. They didn't show it, but I mean, god damn, they're going for the art house ending there. Seemed kind of like, look, I appreciate the courage of it, but it seemed somewhat unnecessary. I'm gonna be honest.
Yeah, it was a little different, definitely not what I was expecting. Definitely wish I had that 8th beer by that point.
Was that in the original? Was that the 4 Kids Entertainment put that in? Like, no, that was actually in the original one. They just kept it. They said we're gonna stay true to it.
Yeah.
I mean, they're gonna call rice balls donuts, but this is staying in though.
Exactly.
I will say you got some nice imagery. It's like this kind of stuff when you're a kid. Like, wow, it'd be nice to be a Pokemon trainer. Then you take into account, imagine like a kid like. First day out there by himself. You got a sleeping bag. You're out in the middle of like fucking Viridian Forest. There's like fucking
cold.
Bugs crawling by, like
Not just even like regular bugs that are trying to kill you because they're like the size of your head.
Well, think about it. They do a good job of making them look cool or cute, but like a Weedle in real life really looks so adorable.
Giant spike on its head
with like these like giant bulbous eyes.
And it's the size of your femur.
Yeah, or like something like imagine like a Venonat. Like a Venonat wouldn't look so cute in real life. That would just be like this weird hairy thing. Probably has like some kind of slime coming off the side.
Like standing on top of your sleeping bag, looking at your face, like chewing
bites
off your ear.
Neck, like yeah, like oh kill, like chasing off like a fucking rolled up newspaper.
It's like the camel spider of the Pokemon world.
Fucking camel spiders, yeah.
See exactly. Everybody's just sitting there.
That's like some total Americana shit right there. And I remember my dad was like watching through this trailer, was watching these credits after I got the movie, like, I want to see how many American names are on here.
God,
got those out of the way pretty early.
There's Last House.
Magic Bus. I saw someone say Magic Bus on there somewhere. Studio L, Anime House, okay. But no, yeah, like I think this like because the soundtrack was a big deal, but it was
just not nearly as cool as the To Be a Master soundtrack.
Despite that, though, there was this thing back when I don't care now, but back when I was a kid, if it did have like artists you'd hear on the radio, it felt like in some way it legitimized it. Well, this person cares enough. Like, no, they actually don't. It's
they like money.
Yeah.
Britney Spears, she loves checks.
Yeah. In Sync, chances are that was a song that probably wasn't good enough to go on one of their main albums. They just dropped it on this.
Yeah, exactly. It was one of those ones like they just said, "Hey, you got extra songs? Yeah, we got these ones we were about to throw in the trash."
Mm-hmm. I'm not gonna say I do got warm, fuzzy feelings to M2M. Don't Say You Love Me.
Yeah, well, there's a couple songs on here that were pretty good, but I remember for the most part getting the album.
It was just that Britney Spears type shit.
It wasn't up to par To Be a Master one. To Be a Master one, I still listen to this day and age.
I have this this one friend of mine. He had these 2 really hot sisters, and they hated Pokemon, but then they really liked the soundtrack, so they'd often borrow the soundtrack. Like, see, maybe just watch the show, you give it a chance. Like, no, we like the Britney Spears, Christina Aguilera shit. Like, no, you gotta watch the show to really get, that helps.
Let me get a little extra clip of Mew.
A little bit of Mew. Now, at the very end here, we're gonna get a couple little ads. I'm not sure if the DVD would have this, but I remember this trailer right here seemed like such a big deal, and Spencer left me by my lonesome just to stare at the Warner Brothers ad by myself. But in a minute here, when we get the "Stay Where You Are" thing, they made it look like a big fucking deal for the Pokemon 2000 movie. And this whole thing right here, I remember being kind of like, as a kid, just like, oh my god, they actually got to save the world? Now it's just like, oh, you see that all the time. Now you don't really give a shit. But yeah. Something about this made it seem like a big thing, but you're a kid, so you just kind of take whatever they give you. The Cloud City thing right here. And Spencer, hurry up with your fucking piss, I'm running out of shit to say.
You got a movie? It's giving you material.
All I can do is just say what's on the fucking screen. Just the Cloud City thing, Ash holding the fireball thing, the evil rich guy, and the ball. Pikachu's pissed off. Ash is happy, as always, for some fucking reason. But yeah, Lugia again. Team Rocket and Ash hanging out, the Blossom, whatever the fuck that thing is. But no, this is actually one of those other examples where they had all here's some CG, which at the time seemed cool. That one was all, because all the movies are about just the legendary or hard to find characters.
Well, yeah, that's kind of what made it. It was like, you got the cool stuff here. And Pokemon 2000 was still a big fucking deal, too. It was kind of the last one, because after Pokemon 2000, that was kind of like when we went to the 5 dark years of Pokemon.
The Holocaust for Pokemon fans.
Where you weren't allowed. That's why a lot of times the third Pokemon movie you just didn't see, because you're like, well, I don't want society to judge me.
Like, they were like putting you behind gated communities.
Are you ready for the Pokemon trading card game? Yeah, I think I am. Look at that, they dubbed me in.
Now, I'm wondering how many of these, because now, of course, they have a Pokemon ad after the movie, but,
nowadays, you can go to your local comic book store and play Pokemon as adults and not be judged.
I wonder about how back then, though, to just be like some 8-year-old kid go to like these professional tournaments, like, I made it really far, and there's some 38-year-old guy in sweatpants who just, he plays it because he knows the math, and he knows, like, the way it all works.
He's like, children are a good thing to bet against.
What do you stupid understand?
I'm actually not really good enough for magic, but Pokemon I can handle.
Yeah.
But as a kid, it's so weird, but like you'd look up to that guy and be like, that guy seems so cool. He must be like, our parents must really look up to this guy. Like, this guy is the crowning achievement of what it is to be an adult.
It's like, don't look him in the eye, Billy. He'll steal your soul.
Fuck you, VC. No, I should love you, VC.
Oh, that was actually, hour and 24, so...
That movie's actually longer than I thought it was.
Well, with ads and all that shit. I'm going to say probably, like, the beginning of Fast Forward, it's probably like an hour and 20.
Yeah, so it's a little bit less than that, but...
Hour and 18, maybe. But yeah.
But I still think Pokemon the movie, I'm glad that it holds up pretty darn well for what it is, because, as I said, Digimon... not so much, and some other one. Actually, for the most part, mostly all the shows I seem to go back to, they keep their charm, and that's what I'm glad to. Maybe it's just because I'm the fucking positive reviewer, as so the internet might say.
You're too happy. You like too many things.
I'm the one who looks for the good in everything. I guess the other person I can compare myself to is Jason Mewes, because he seems to be that kind of guy too.
Just gotta get you some heroin.
Heroin. That's what makes you happy. Okay, but that's a good place to wrap this podcast up. But what we're going to start doing, just to make something fun, is we picked up one of these choose-your-own-adventure books. Now, if you were in the 90s and you watched Pokemon, you obviously owned a handful of these books, because they were the hip, cool thing to have then. And nowadays, you can't really find them whatsoever. What we learned is that it was hard to find one of these books again. But we came across one called Journey Under the Sea, which is technically an old-fashioned one from 1978. So every podcast... we're going to read, a page or two until it gets to whatever the fucking question is of do this or do that. And then what you can do is you can do hashtag option A, or we'll make it simpler. We'll do
hashtag page. No, put the page.
Oh, yeah, because they'll have the page. That's right. That's what we're going to do. Good thing you're there to cover me, so I was getting fucking lost on what the options were. But, so yes, we're doing Journey Under the Sea by R.A. Montgomery. And it's a story that you're a highly experienced deep-sea explorer, but your search is lost in the continent of Atlantis, and it's the trip of a lifetime. It will be the most challenging and dangerous mission of your career. Many unknowns will test your courage, abilities, strengths, and judgment. And you will be using the newly designed equipment of 1978 that's never been tested before. So that's what we are. Okay.
And you'll do the actual reading, and I'll just do the awkward commenting in the back.
Yeah. So we're going to read, comment, and then we'll get to the point at the end of the page. And you will decide, as our great viewers can, because we can't make decisions on our own now.
And hashtag it to my Twitter at Dunigan Ryan, or Spencer's Twitter
at Spencer S. Holmes. And you can even do it, I'll try to check it, at our Old Man Orange one that I have yet to put any effort into, at Old Man Orange Pod on Twitter. And we'll just count them all up from there and figure that all part out. But here we go, starting from page 1. You are a deep sea explorer searching for the famed lost city of Atlantis.
The fuck's that city?
The place where Aquaman's from. So we're looking for Aquaman, apparently.
Oh, where's Aquaman?
This is your most challenging and dangerous mission.
Oh, fuck.
Fear and excitement are now your companions. It is the morning, and the sun pushes up on you into the horizon.
Oh, sunburn.
The sea is calm. You climb into the narrow pilot's compartment of the underwater vessel.
Oh, fuck. Oh, okay, I'm in.
Seeker with your special gear. What the fuck is your Seeker?
Hey, Sager, get over here. I'm confused.
Now you become like my retarded, like, chimp companion.
I'm the lead guy. I'm the main character.
I'm the guy who likes to be fed force into what's going on.
I'm the Ash Ketchum. I'm just along for the
I'm the Ash Ketchum. I'm not really, Brock's really the guy who's got everything under control, but...
It's really Brock pulling the strings.
Okay, the crew of the research vessel, Murray, screws down the hatch clamps. Now begins the plunge into the depths of the ocean.
Oh, yeah.
The Seeker crew begins lowering by a strong but thin cable. Within minutes, you are so deep in the ocean that little light filters down to you. Yeah, the silence is eerie as this thick glass porthole. Boy, thick glass porthole. That's just...
Oh, that's a thick-ass porthole.
And you see strange whitefish. What, no blackfish down there?
It's very segregated.
Yeah.
They're behind the times.
Those blackfish got their own restroom now. I guess we're in the deep south, so what do you expect?
Well, this is a very gentrified area.
So sometimes, drifting past you, these white fish sometimes stopping to look at you and judge you like you're from another world.
It's okay, we can roll down the windows here.
That's okay.
Oh, fuck, no, roll them back up.
Roll them up! The strong cable attaching to you, this is weird how it speaks in. The cable attaching to you, the Murray, the fucking ship, is extended to its limit.
Oh, no.
You have come to rest on a ledge near the canyon in the ocean floor.
Oh, ledge.
That ancient myths say is the lost city of Atlantis.
Oh, that's nice.
You have an experimental diving suit designed from the 1970s to protect you from the intense pressure of the deep.
Oh, that's a lot of pressure.
You are pretty much James Cameron going on an adventure.
James Cameron, under the sea.
Instead of being making True Lies on Blu-ray.
An Avatar.
Yeah, fuck the Avatar, yo. You should be able to leave the Seeker and explore the sea bottom. The new suit contains a number of the latest microprocessors, enabling you to use a variety of useful functions. It even has a built-in PDA with laser communication.
Yay.
Ooh, future.
That sounds fancy.
Remember those days when we used to have PDAs? I used to think of the PDA and I was like, dude, think of the ROMs you could put on it. You would be walking around with a portable Nintendo. Lo and behold, we get that all later on, but still.
Playing that under the sea? Fuck.
Oh yeah, playing on the sea, dude? That'd be what I'd be doing. You'd be playing Pokemon down there. You can cut loose the cable from the Seeker, and it is self-propelled. You are now in another world. Remember, this is a dangerous world, an unknown world with underwater Pokemon.
Oh, yeah.
As agreed, you signal the Murray. All systems go. It's fucking awesome down here.
Fuck off, I'm good.
This cannot be 1978. When are they going to use the words like awesome and stuff? But whatever. Okay, so we're at our decisions now. So this is the part. We got two things. We can either go to page 6 or page 4. So page 6 is, if you decide to explore the ledge where the Seeker has come to rest, turn to page 6. If you decide to cut loose from the Murray and dive with the Seeker into the canyon of the ocean floor, turn to page 4. Well, these are sort of interesting options.
Decisions, folks.
I really almost wish we found the Clueless fucking Choose Your Own Adventure book.
There's a bunch of Clueless books at the flea market where we got this thing. We were kind of like, are they clueless? Are they like go on a date with the motorcycle guy, or go to Michelle's party?
That would have been way more fun, but still, okay. So that's what we got. So if you need to hear those again, just rewind it because there's no reason for me to read it.
Well, let's see. So it's hashtag page.
Hashtag page 6 is if we decide to go explore the ledge where the Seekers come to rest, and hashtag page 4 is if we decide to cut loose from the Murray and dive with the Seeker into the canyon on the ocean floor.
Alrighty.
There we go. That's our new little fun podcast game.
And send it to either my Twitter at Dunigan Ryan
or at mine, at Spencer S. Holmes. And I guess you can send it to at Old Man Orange Pod, but whatever's easiest, send them there. We'll tally them up and go from there. But till then, check out oldmanorange.com for more podcasts, cartoons, music, and more. If you want to help support the podcast, we got a Patreon page. You can go there and donate a monthly one. That's totally cool. Another way is if, say, you want to watch Pokemon again and you don't own a copy of it, well, I'll put a link to the Amazon in the description. You can click on that. Buy anything from Amazon. Won't cost you any extra, but it sends a little something our way. Until then, I'm Spencer Scott Holmes.
And I'm Ryan Dunigan.
And we will see you some other time.
Later, folks.
Thanks for listening to the Old Man Orange podcast. Check out our website at oldmanorange.com for even more podcasts, cartoons, videos, music, and more. Send us an email at oldmanorangepodcast@yahoo.com. Be sure to subscribe, share, rate, and review us on iTunes, Podomatic, or any of the other fine sites we might be located on. And if you want to help out even more, click on the Amazon or GameStop links on our webpage before you make any purchases there. It won't cost you a penny, but it sends us a little something our way. Thanks again, and tune in next week for more Old Man Orange Podcast.